In 2025, America lit a new torch for the world. It wasn't just a policy, it was a golden invitation. The gold card wasn't just a visa, it was a dream, reborn. Welcome to Timeless America, the channel where history lives, legacies breathe, and the soul of a nation is rediscovered. If you believe in the American story, its triumphs, its trials, its heart, then you've found your home. Subscribe, hit that like button, and ring the bell so you never miss a story that could change the way you see this great land. In the spring of 2025, amid a world torn by migration crises, war-touched borders, and broken immigration systems, the United States of America unveiled something extraordinary, something radical yet familiar, something called the Gold Card. To many, it sounded like a marketing gimmick, a flashy name for just another visa. But for those who dared to look closer, to listen to the whispers of hope from across oceans and continents, it was something else entirely. It was a rebirth, a revolution in American immigration policy. The Gold Card visa program, introduced in early 2025, was not just about paperwork. It was about people. It was about visionaries, survivors, builders, artists, scientists, dreamers, people who had what the world needed and what America had always welcomed. And for a moment, the world paused. Because for the first time in decades, it felt like Ellis Island was opening again. This time, not with ships, but with signals sent across the digital ether, reaching the hearts of millions who still believed in the American dream. The story of the Gold Card doesn't begin in 2025. It begins long before, in the whispers of a forgotten legacy, when America was known not just as a superpower, but as a sanctuary. When the tired, poor, and huddled masses looked to the New World for a second chance. But somewhere along the way, the gates closed. Bureaucracy bloomed. Walls went up, some made of steel, others of fear. Immigration became a political football, kicked from left to right, lost in the shuffle of policy debates and cultural divisions. But in 2025, under mounting global pressure and economic shifts brought on by post-pandemic reordering, a bold idea emerged from within Washington. What if we created a new path? One that didn't just tolerate immigrants, but celebrated them? One that sought not just labor, but legacy? That idea became law, and it was named the Gold Card. What is the Gold Card? The Gold Card was a special visa category designed for highly skilled individuals from across the globe, a fast-track pathway, not only to U.S. residency but to long-term integration into American society. But it wasn't just for tech geniuses or investors. It was also for artists, innovators, teachers, and even humanitarian leaders. The criteria were bold, yet balanced. Proven skill or extraordinary talent in one's field, commitment to contribute to American society, clean legal and ethical record, willingness to mentor, build, or uplift communities. In return, the U.S. offered not just legal status, but support, recognition, and stability. Gold Card holders were granted an initial 5-year residency with a path to citizenship within 7 years. They had access to entrepreneurship programs, special education grants, cultural integration initiatives, and even fast-tracked family reunification. But the power of the Gold Card was not in its policy. It was in the people who applied for it, the dreamers of 2025, stories that stir the soul. Let's meet a few of them. Aisha Khan, 34, from Lahore, Pakistan, a robotics engineer who built prosthetic limbs for children injured by landmines. Her work had touched lives across Asia, but resources were scarce. She applied for the Gold Card with trembling hands. Within months, she was in Boston working with MIT, building limbs not just for survival, but for life. Her tears during the oath ceremony were not for what she left behind, but for what she could now build. Leo Vasquez, 27, from Venezuela, a street artist who used murals to challenge oppression. He had fled political persecution and lived in refugee camps for 3 years. Under the Gold Card, he was welcomed by a program in Los Angeles. Today, he teaches underprivileged youth to tell their own stories through color and canvas. One of his murals now stretches across a public library wall, bold, defiant, free. Dr. Sofia Markovic, 43, from Serbia, a medical researcher who developed a low-cost vaccine distribution system. Before the Gold Card, her project languished, without funding. After it, she stood before the NIH and received a grant to pilot her system in 10 American cities. She saved lives, not just in Serbia, but in Cincinnati, Detroit, and beyond. A revolution in values. What made the Gold Card different wasn't just who it welcomed, but how it welcomed. For the first time, immigrants were seen not as burdens, but as blessings. The narrative shifted. Schools started holding Gold Card community nights. Churches, mosques, and temples partnered in welcoming ceremonies. Employers offered Gold Card internships. Kids wore t-shirts that said, "My neighbor is a Gold Card hero." It was as if America was remembering itself. The Statue of Liberty's torch glowed a little brighter. Ellis Island got a digital twin. Even the word immigrant, so often twisted, found healing. The media picked it up. Headlines read, "Gold Card Program reimagines the American dream." America welcomes the world's brightest and most compassionate. From war zones to workspaces, Gold Card stories inspire the nation, but not without resistance. Of course, not everyone cheered. Some said the program was too generous. Others feared job displacement. Some accused the government of cherry-picking talent while ignoring domestic needs. In Congress, debates raged. Protests formed, but something remarkable happened. The Gold Card recipients spoke back, not with anger but with action. They volunteered in storm recovery zones. They built housing projects. They opened bilingual schools. They sang "God Bless America" at July 4th parades, arm in arm with strangers who soon became friends. In time, even some critics softened. They saw the old woman in Kansas whose hip was replaced by a device designed by a Gold Card engineer. They saw the Harlem school revitalized by a Gold Card education reformer. They saw America growing, not in spite of immigrants, but because of them. The numbers tell the story. By the end of 2025, over 78,000 Gold Cards were issued. More than 1,100 startups were launched by recipients. Nearly $2.6 billion was contributed to the U.S. economy. Over 30,000 jobs were created as a direct result of the program. But numbers don't cry at naturalization ceremonies. Numbers don't light candles for freedom. People do. The human torch still burns in a small Midwest town. A boy named Eli lit a candle at a school event. His mother, a Syrian Gold Card doctor, was treating local COVID long-haul patients. He stood before his classmates and said, "My mom came here with a dream and a suitcase. She gave this country her heart, and now we give her our home." The room fell silent. Some wiped away tears. This was America, not in theory, not in politics, but in practice, in blood, sweat, and belief. A final reflection. The Gold Card program was more than a visa. It was a mirror, held up to a nation that had forgotten parts of itself. It reminded America that greatness is not built in isolation, but in invitation. In every Gold Card story, you see a glimmer of Ellis Island. You hear echoes of 1776. You remember that this country was never meant to be a fortress, but a flame. And now with the Gold Card, that flame burns again, golden, glowing, timeless. Here at Timeless America, we don't just talk about laws or leaders. We share the soul of a nation. The heartbeats behind headlines, the dreams behind policies. If this story moved you, if it made you proud, thoughtful, or even tearful, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this story with someone who still believes in the dream of America, because the dream isn't dead. It's just beginning again, under a golden light.